So the next person who will talk now is Bill McKenna. Well, actually, he has given an interview to BioWell YouTube channel. We didn't yet post it, but it was just the last moment that he hopped on our train, and I can see Bill is online. Hello, Bill. We can turn on your screen and you can tell a couple of words to us.
Well, first of all, I'm really grateful to be here. Thank you, Dimitri, for taking me in and allowing me to show some of the BioWell test results. I'm really excited about everything that's happened. I'm the founder of something called Cognomovement. I basically ran into BioWell on accident. I was getting incredible results. Noticing people are having releases in their chakra system during these therapy sessions that we do, and they releasing emotional issues of all kinds. Anyway, it was a great fortune to be able to have a device that I can actually read the field with. And the physical reactions are mirrored exactly what's going on in BioWell. So anyway, I'll let I have a bunch of stories and information of real results in the interview here.
Okay, so we are starting your presentation and let everyone enjoy it. It's an interesting one. Let's start watching.
Hi, this is Bill McKenna. I'm so excited to be here presenting at the SIS Congress. It's very much an honor. I'm looking forward to sharing with you my test results on the BioWell as it relates to my discovery called Cognomovement. Now, I made this discovery about something called Cognomovement, which is a simple bilateral exercise with a ball that produces craving amnesia, emotional amnesia, incredible athletic performance increases, stress reduction, that sort of thing. And what I did was simply figure out some basic neurological functions and how we could use these to overwhelm the system and create these remapping effects where you simply don't feel the resentment anymore, for example. Now, one of the basic things that I figured out was that your right side of your brain, it sees three-dimensional objects in time and space. And this ball is a three-dimensional object. The left side of your brain sees colors and symbols. Now, it's been known for quite a while that the different positions of your eyes basically will determine what part of the brain gets stimulated. When you look down with your eyes, you're accessing the kinesthetic or the feeling part of you. When your eyes are level, you will access the auditory function. And when your eyes are up, they access the visual parts of the brain. When you move your body, your limbs across the center line of your body, you actually move information from left hemisphere to right hemisphere. This is a pretty basic information, but when you combine it with focus on a particular issue, for example, chocolate cake, or your worst enemy, you name it, whatever kind of emotional thing that you have, when you do this cross-body movement with this ball and in a specific protocol, what happens is you get this effect. Also, there's other effects that we've discovered, which is every particular position that you catch the ball in lights up what we call a place cell in your brain. The place cell is part of a complex network. So you're doing a massive amount of firing of neurological activity with our exercise. Now, our thoughts are for our head and our feelings are for our body. When I did this, or initially, this first time that I did Cognomovement, I made the discovery, the first friend that I worked with had a financial issue and he felt tremendous heat in his belly button. We were only doing the exercise for a few minutes and he was sweating profusely. And we were only throwing a ball back and forth. He then told me he was about to have a heart attack and he wanted to stop. And then he started choking and then whoosh, the thing went away. It was a level 10 frustration with his finances and it went to a 0. Anyway, it was quite amazing. So I knew something was going on with this feeling part of the body, the energetic systems, if you will, also known as chakras. But I didn't have any proof. Along came BioWell, and I adopted it, went and got my training with Tiffany Barsotti. Now, Tiffany was an amazing teacher. And something I want to point out here is an example of somebody who, with her information and Cognomovement, we were able to get this woman's hearing back. Now, it's a crazy story. This woman came to me and she lost her hearing in her right ear. And she had lost it around 4 or 5 years prior. And she had tried everything, including getting steroid shots in her eardrum. She said it was extraordinarily painful. During the training with Tiffany for my BioWell, what happened is she talked about this particular report, and she talked about the thorax, right behind the heart. And she said that, well, if you see these two lines, the emotional and the physical line have crossed over in this area, right, thorax, that oftentimes it'll be betrayal. Well, I did the test on this woman who came in with her hearing loss, and I noticed exactly what she said. And I asked the woman, do you have any incidents of betrayal? And she said, no. And I said, well, let me take you back, 4 or 5 years ago, did anything happen? And she was like thinking, and then she was, oh, yeah, it was horrible. She had what she perceived was 2 betrayals. Her father and her husband both betrayed her, and at the same time. And she had never correlated that had anything to do with her hearing loss in her right ear. So interestingly enough, right here, these are the right side, and this is all of, as I think everybody in this conference knows, these are all the different systems. There it was, clear as day. So all I did was to have her feel the betrayal. Now, Cognomovement is amazing in that I'm not telling her not to feel betrayal or forgive them. I'm telling her, her dad, her husband, they suck. Hate them. Feel the horrible feelings of betrayal and do the exercise. We do this exercise with her, and over the course of a few sessions, right? It was all in the same day. I did multiple sessions in the same day. The hearing went from a complete loss to she could hear perfectly. And look at this. After it, we did the BioWell test results. Here you go. The lines separated. Oh, it was a wonderful moment, not only for the woman. I mean, she's crying. She's got her hearing back, right? And she's been through hell. and now she can hear again. So, but for me as a practitioner, it was just a wonderful thing to be able to help this woman get her hearing back and to focus on the real underlying issue. I've learned so much over time that it's astounding how wonderful it is to be able to show people the results and to get some indicator where the real hidden problem might be. Now, the next thing I want to share with you is this report, which I think everybody here knows. Now, these are 31 across here. These are 31 of the different systems, you know, your spine, your adrenals, your thyroid, so on and so forth. And along here are all of the joules of energy. Now, a joule of energy would be your electrical charge, right? And anything that's lit up on this is going to be what's out of balance. Now, this woman came to me and she had, I think, 3-4 kids with her husband, and she had it. She was like, I hate him, I hate him, I hate him, and I'm going to divorce him, I'm leaving. And I was like, okay, all right, you're leaving him, that's fine, okay? I want you to hate him. He sucks, you know, hate him. And we start doing the exercise, did the exercise with her, and just kept after it. And she had all these sensations in her body. You know, she was crying, her heart hurt, you know, she's about to throw up, her stomach hurt, and then, you know, her belly. So this issue went downwards for her. And worked with her until the point as it left her body, she could no longer feel it anymore. And then we worked on having her with the positive feelings with her husband, because it was easy for her to then forgive. Who's the easiest person to forgive? Somebody you don't feel anything, no resentment for, right? If you feel resentment, it's sure hard to forgive. If you don't feel anything, it's very easy to forgive. So this is what happened. She forgave and she loved, and look at this. Boom. Almost double the amount of energy, and everything went into balance. You know, people talk about, you know, what's, you know, held against, what you hold against somebody else, you hold against yourself. Well, the science now proves it out. It's actually true. You're actually hurting yourself with these negative feelings, and now we have the proof. Not to mention a way out, you know. Most of the time, everybody struggles with things like forgiveness, for example, because it's so hard, right? The person did it. And as I mentioned earlier, your feelings are stuck in your body. So you feel how you feel, and that stimulates the thoughts, and then the thoughts stimulate more feelings. You're stuck in a kind of continual loop. Well, with Cognomovement, we found a way out of that. That's very easy because it goes in line with the person. Just feel how you feel, and really feel it, and do the exercise, and it'll vacate your body. Here's another story. Now, this gentleman was in his mid-20s, and during his teenage years, he was right around that 12, 13-year-old age, he got in some trouble with the law and ended up going to basically a juvenile prison. And while he was there, horrible things happened. Horrible, horrible things for anybody, and especially as a young boy. So he was filled with shame and humiliation. So here he is in his 20s, and he's become extremely unproductive. You know, he can't hold down a job. His thoughts are splayed. He can't focus. He's got a lot of problems. And as you can see, the problem is across the board. he's completely out of balance, and he has fairly low energy. Worked with him with Cognomovement, and all of his shame went from a level 10 to a 0. It was gone, gone. And look at what happened to his, energy. I'm going to show this to before. He felt the shame and humiliation, and then we got it processed, and there it is. So not only after he completed this, you know, he was able to get and keep a job, and his wife, he was actually married, they started getting along great. Everything turned around for the guy. So it's really nice that you can get an effect that keeps going on. The beauty of this is that once it leaves the body, that it no longer stimulates the thought. The cycle is broken. So the boy, he continued to prosper. Here's another one that we have here. You can see the effect. Here's your before, and here's your after. Really is amazing result. And this is only typically in something on the order of around, maybe 15 minutes, typically. Sometimes it may go on for a few hours with real severe things that are layered, but typically somewhere in that neighborhood. Now, here's one that had stress, and we were able to just go in and process. Now, a lot of people think that all the financial stress and all the things that are going on in the world today, that, the fear is not affecting me. But guess what? I can show you that it is. And look what happens to your field when you're in these fear states. So I think the things going on with social media and media in general that are creating these extraordinary amounts of fear are very damaging to the world population. Here it is after we're doing Cognomovement. We're able to take this stress from a 10 to a 0, and her field filled in. So this works out really as something interesting in that people don't have to try to change their mind. They can simply just feel how they feel and do the exercise. This is one of my favorite stories. This woman was in her 80s. Now, she came to me and she had a fear of falling. Now, she was clutching everything as she went. She had broken her hip, not her hip, excuse me, her femur. Actually, it was amazing because the energy field showed it too. This is where it broke. And this break happened a few years prior. When she came to me, she was all physically better, but her intense fear had to do with her emotion around being abused during the recovery process. There was a relative of this woman that was taking care of her and took out some of her negative feelings on the woman. So it was kind of a horror show for her. We did the exercise. It was only 15 minutes. I had her just feel the fear around it, and it went from a 10 to a 0, and look what happened to her energy field. Amazing. And it filled in even where the femur had broke. I love this one. And what I don't have for you today is a video of her. After she the fear went away, she was walking around normal. There was no more holding on to chairs and walls and everything else. So the things that are going on in our energy field, in our mind, that they have real life ramifications when they're gone. I think everybody already knows that, but it's sure cool to see some of the examples. This one here is around forgiveness. So this was one of the first ones that was around forgiveness. And basically what it was is the simple alleviation of the resentment, and the forgiveness became easy. Here's the before and here's the after. That's what forgiveness does. And here is another one that I thought you might find of interest. It's really interesting. This is one of the first ones that was I did, and the person had some resentments. I worked with them and had them feel them, and then here is the after. There's the before, and there's the after. Over here, this was an Irish woman, and I was working with her, and I took the BioWell test. And over here, if you notice, her second chakra. And you know, this was off to the side here, and it was obviously, you know, it was focused inward on her. So made me a little curious, and I just asked her, "Is it, you got somebody you're related to that may be a problem?" And well, she started talking about, you know, how some relatives had done her wrong and that sort of thing. And I said, you know, what do you think about forgiveness? You know, and trying an experiment, try and forgive them. And she was like, "Oh no, those are me treasures. Those are me treasures. I can't do it." I love the way she put it, because, you know, I think for all of us, we treasure our resentments, right? We wouldn't give them up for anything. So I basically just had her feel the resentment, and then we did the exercise, and the resentment went away, and it became easy for her to forgive. Now look at what happened. Just a few minutes. It didn't take much with this one. I think it was like 10, 11 minutes. Boom, lined up. So doesn't take much if you're actually willing to do the work. Here is another gentleman here. Now this particular gentleman, he suffered from guilt. Now this one was pretty rough. There was a witnessing of a suicide, and this person suffered with a lot of guilt over that, and it caused kind of this brain fog type situation. But as you can see here, we processed it, and although this isn't perfect, you can see the difference. You see the huge holes all filled in, and that guilt went away. Guilt is a particularly insidious emotion, because when somebody's in it, it's very self-destructive, right? What do you do when you feel guilty? You feel like, yeah, I need to be punished. So, you know, it's like kind of like being in court. You know, oh, you're guilty. What's the next thing? All right, you're in prison. Well, being free of that really will improve a person's life. Here's a little bit of contact information if you'd like more information. If you want to talk BioWell talk, or you're interested in becoming a Cognomovement practitioner, we do have Cognomovement practitioners and courses that you can take. You can also do this for yourself. You can get these on Amazon.com, but you really do need training. I recommend going to a training course, or going to one of our practitioners who can do a session with you. There's much more that you can do with Cognomovement. We have some studies going on related to some neurological disorders that we're working with some professional associations on. It can do a lot more than what I've been able to tell you about right here in this video, but contact me. I'm interested in having more practitioners and partners to move this out to the world and help humanity. We need to make this world a better place, and if we can release all those negative thoughts and feelings from everybody in a simple, easy way, when we feel better, we treat other people better. Hope to see you soon in one of the seminars. Thank you.
Oh, thank you, Bill, and excellent work, and well, very unusual approach, I would say. I will never think that just, you know, like concentrated on some thought and then just moving the ball will just do something to a person, but well, you opened my eyes on that.
Yeah, well, I'm looking forward. You'd love to have you in on one of the classes and actually do it on a real thing for you. You know.
Okay, I think that one day will come and I will try to join one of your classes. So a brilliant talk, and thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.